Battle of Coruscant. So I would have featured the Battle of Coruscant heavily in Star Wars The Clone Wars in the finale if I had written it. I mean, literally, it's like the last battle, or not really the last battle, but it's a very important point in the war. So to not feature it at all was just criminal. Like, it was just criminal. But anyway, let me just say that if I had written Star Wars The Clone Wars, I would have done most of the things the same, except I would have maybe used some slightly different characters and maybe added some minor tweaks and some small but significant plot points. For instance, I mean, actually, I can get to that in a different video. This video, Battle of Coruscant. But in season 6 of Star Wars The Clone Wars, I would have not done the episode with Sifo Dyas, and I would not have done the 3 episodes with Yoda and the Lost Voices and the spirits and the whole of finding out about the Force Ghost thing. I would have just not done those 4 episodes at all. Just not done them. Instead, I would have done the Son of Dathomir arc, like in real form. I would have just done the Son of Dathomir episodes. Just had them there in visual animated form. And so that would be the end of season 6, those 4 episodes, Son of Dathomir arc, season 6 finale. And as I said, I would have had Darth Maul kill Alpha Rancis and Evan Peel. And the Son of Dathomir plot would have still turned out the same, by the way. But in season 7 of the Clone Wars, I would have had the first 4 episodes just be the Bad Batch arc as it was in the regular original timeline. I would have had the 4 episode Bad Batch arc, but the next 4 episodes would have been about the Battle of Coruscant, as well as Anakin's little quest, Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi's quest. So I would have had Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi go on a quest similar to Nelvaan in the 2003 micro series, but a little different. I would have had maybe some a planet very strong in the Force, not like Mortis, but sort of not similar, but some allusions to Mortis. And I would have had maybe some like force wielding women, and then Anakin has to go through a trial where he has to go through caves and have visions the same way he did on Nelvaan. And I would have probably had him probably also go in the same way that he was, with the whole Bruce Leach trawlers and everything, if you know what I'm talking about. I would have done that, and I would have had Anakin go through a very painful quest and challenge and metamorphosis, and he would really achieve very interesting stuff, and he would save a lot of lives, but in the process he would really be impacted in a big way. I mean, I haven't really thought of exactly what I would have done yet, but just throwing some ideas out there. Anakin with the Nelvaan tattoos, I would have probably done that. I would have done that, had him walk through the cold, all that. But meanwhile, on Coruscant, I would have had General Grievous and his forces invade Coruscant, and I would have had, you know what? A good idea popped into my head, but let me go on. I would have had General Grievous invade Coruscant, and Baltar Swan, Terra Sinube, and a Weequay Jedi, the same one we saw in season 2 for a brief moment. I would have had those 3, and maybe a Mon Calamari Jedi. You know what? Let's just throw 1 in there. Those 4 would have been in charge of protecting Chancellor Palpatine. And meanwhile, Mace Windu and Kit Fisto would fight General Grievous, and of course Mace Windu would wreck General Grievous, and General Grievous would get destroyed by Mace Windu, but General Grievous would be able to escape. And then, meanwhile, in space, Asazi Tin would lead a space battle against the Separatist forces, and General Grievous would try to catch up to the Chancellor. But of course, Chancellor Palpatine, knowing that he has to escape, knowing that he has to get kidnapped to serve as cover, to lure Anakin to the dark side, to have him kill Count Dooku, I would have had Chancellor Palpatine intentionally foil the Jedi's attempt to rescue him. So I would have had Chancellor Palpatine kill Bolter Swan and Terra Sunube and the Weak Grey Jedi and all his Jedi protectors. I would have had Chancellor Palpatine just kill them all and make it look like an accident. Meanwhile, General Grievous would be catching up to Chancellor Palpatine, and I would have had Count Dooku involved in the Battle of Coruscant as well. That's a good idea that just popped into my head earlier. I would have had Count Dooku be involved in the Battle of Coruscant, and I would have Count Dooku fight Mace Windu and Yoda, and of course, Count Dooku would get overwhelmed and he would be badly beaten, but he would escape. And maybe I would have given Count Dooku a small injury, like maybe Yoda and Mace Windu hurt Count Dooku, and so Count Dooku is still in pain when he's fighting Obi-Wan and Anakin, and maybe that's played into the reason why Count Dooku lost to Anakin a little bit easily. Yeah, but anyway, I mean, I guess maybe that would take away from Anakin's victory a little bit, but who knows. But anyway, meanwhile, Anakin will be wrapping up his quest on Nelvaan, and he would get back, put his clothes on, and put his shirt on, and him and Obi-Wan Kenobi would go back to the cruiser where Shaak Ti would be waiting for them, and then Shaak Ti would notify them of how Coruscant has been invaded, and General Grievous has at this point kidnapped the Chancellor, but also Bo-Katan is asking for help for Mandalore because she wants to take down Darth Maul and Prime Minister Almec. So Obi-Wan would say, hey, I don't want to face Darth Maul because last time I saw him, he killed Duchess Satine, and I would not have had, oh, and just as a side note, I would not have had Obi-Wan Kenobi in the Son of Dathomir at all. Instead of Obi-Wan Kenobi, I would have had Alpha Rancisis, Evan Peel, Mace Windu, and Ki-Adi-Mundi. And I would have had, of course, Alpha Rancisis and Evan Peel get killed by Darth Maul, as I said. But yeah, so Obi-Wan Kenobi would not have seen Darth Maul since Darth Maul killed Satine, Kryze. So yeah, Obi-Wan Kenobi would not want to go, and he would want to go back to Coruscant, and the Anakin would of course follow him to Coruscant, and of course Darth Maul would still be trying to lure Anakin Skywalker to Mandalore, but instead Shaak Ti would go and help out Bo-Katan. And then of course the next 4 episodes would be the Siege of Mandalore, and Shaak Ti would be leading the charge with Bo-Katan and Ursa Wren, Bo-Katan, Shaak Ti, those 3 would, and Fen Rao, Ursa Wren, Shaak Ti, Bo-Katan, and Corky Kryze. Yes, Corky Kryze, I would throw in Satine's nephew as well. I would have the 4 of them. And Captain Rex, So basically all of them. I would have had them invade Mandalore and fight Darth Maul's forces. And Darth Maul would of course be really annoyed that Anakin Skywalker did not come. Meanwhile, Revenge of the Sith would be happening simultaneously. And I would have some scenes where Shaak Ti is participating in some Jedi Council meetings by hologram, and she would be in the Jedi Council meeting where they decide to make Anakin Skywalker spy on Chancellor Palpatine. And Shaak Ti might raise some reservations about the thought, or maybe not, who knows. And then, of course, Shaak Ti, being a very powerful Jedi Council master, and of course Darth Maul is incredibly powerful too. Let's just say that she and Darth Maul fight, and it's a very close fight, but she manages to outsmart him and win. And so Darth Maul gets captured, and Shaak Ti takes Darth Maul to the Star Cruiser, and they go away. And meanwhile, Bo-Katan is left in charge of Mandalore, but the clone troopers are still occupying Mandalore. And Shaak Ti goes and goes. And meanwhile, and I might throw in a little scene where Darth Sidious talks to Gar Saxon. Have a little bit of that. And then Darth Sidious would really be able to exploit Gar Saxon because he knows Gar Saxon has now been abandoned by Darth Maul. But Shaak Ti, but then Order 66 would break out, and the clones would turn on Shaak Ti, and of course Captain Rex would try to still resist the inhibitor chip, and so Shaak Ti would capture Rex, and she would go find out what happened, and then she would of course find out the truth about Nala Se and Fives and Kamino and the inhibitor chips, and of course she would be furious with herself for missing that whole thing and for not being able to realize it. And of course then Shaak Ti would rescue Darth Maul just to use him as a distraction. Like, I would copy most of the plot, but use Shaak Ti instead of Ahsoka Tano, if you catch my drift. And so Shaak Ti and Darth Maul would just flat out tell Shaak Ti that Chancellor Palpatine is Darth Sidious, and Shaak Ti would be like, oh, like, and she would just like cuss because like she's like, how could the Jedi be so stupid? And then so, but yeah, Darth Maul would still do his powerful, cool little rampage through the Star Cruiser, and then Shaak Ti and Captain Rex would escape, and Darth Maul would also escape. Meanwhile, everyone else dies. And then so Darth Maul goes back to the Shadow Collective Crimson Dawn, and Shaak Ti goes into hiding. Captain Rex goes into hiding and shows up later in Star Wars Rebels, and both Shaak Ti and Darth Maul would show up at the end of Rise of Skywalker. Yeah, so here's me and my very creative storylines, and more on the inhibitor chips later.